Now, as of right now in 2025, there are so many different covered call style ETFs to choose from for investors that want to achieve a lot more income a lot sooner than invest in traditional assets. Now, to be completely honest with you guys, I personally think that most of the covered call style ETFs across the market as of right now are not worth touching with a 10-foot pole, which is why I basically have the majority of my money allocated in just a few super high quality names if we're talking about covered call buy right style ETFs in general. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys all the covered call style, income style, option strategy ETFs that I personally enjoy buying into and holding. Some of these ETFs are probably going to be names that you've heard of, maybe even you own yourself, and some of the names are probably going to be new to you. Now, because in the current age of investing, it seems like there's more and more of these ETFs coming out more and more frequently, you're probably going to see, like I said, some newer names on this list as well as some old ones. So if you want to see all my favorite covered call or option style ETFs across the market as of right now, well then make sure to stick around, drop a link down below, and let's go right into the first one. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker that I'm constantly using here on the channel has also helped so many investors stay on track and allow them to see their dividend income in real time. Well, today I have another treat for you guys. I'm not only going to offer you my A to Z dividend investing ebook and the custom dividend tracker, but also just for a short limited time, I'm going to be adding in my brand new weekly dividend blueprint ebook to show you how you can get started with weekly dividend ETFs and add this into your investing strategy. This offer is not going to last long, so go ahead and click the first link down below in my description, and you're going to get both ebooks and the custom dividend tracker bundle. But like I said, please act fast because this won't be around for long. Now let's get back into the video. So the first covered call style, income style, option strategy ETF that I really enjoy buying and holding, and I've been holding on to for several years now, is DIVO, or the Amplify CWP Enhanced Dividend Income ETF. Now DIVO is an actively managed ETF that buys into a small basket of stocks, around 30 as of right now. But what's interesting about DIVO is that you're not only going to have exposure to some of the names in here, like Visa, Caterpillar, Goldman Sachs, etc. You're also going to get exposure to a strategy that utilizes covered calls on individual names to generate a lot more income than an investor would normally receive by just buying into some of the names in this list. Now, I've been buying and holding DIVO for several years now. The ETF is low beta, it's relatively tax efficient, it's grown over time, and it offers around a 5% yield more or less, paid out monthly. Now, because my personal criteria for covered call strategy ETFs is that I want a decent amount of diversification, and even though DIVO only has around 30 different holdings within the basket, I still think that's a decent amount, much better than holding on to an income style ETF that only references a single stock or two. Now, that doesn't mean that an ETF that just references a single stock or two or three is necessarily bad, but for the most part for me, I'm looking for much more diversification, even if it means a little bit less upside. All to say that DIVO is one of my favorites. I've been talking about this one forever. A lot of you guys probably know this, and I'll probably be talking about it for a long time to come. Now, a newer one on my list as far as my favorite covered call or option style ETFs as of right now is QDVO, another one from Amplify ETFs, the Amplify CWP Growth and Income ETF. Now, this ETF is seeking capital appreciation from growth-oriented stocks with high monthly income from option premiums and dividends. There's 45 different holdings in QDVO, names like Nvidia, names like Apple, Microsoft, so you are getting some higher beta here, which means some higher IV and probably higher option premiums, which is probably how this ETF, as of right now at least, has a distribution rate of over 10%. Now, QDVO does meet my criteria because it's decently well diversified. I mean, 45 different holdings, and with that option overlay, this is going to help generate a ton of income, but also help during times of volatility. QDVO is a small position in my portfolio, and if and when the market keeps dipping, if it does keep dipping that is, I'm going to keep adding a ton of QDVO, dollar cost averaging down, because I think this one is going to have not only a ton of growth during the next bull market, but also a ton of income generation. Now, I can't make a cover call video talking about some of my favorite names across the market with leaving out some of the OGs, some of the original ones that I've been holding on to for a while, like JEPI, the JP Morgan Equity Premier Income ETF, which does have a very well diversified number of holdings, around 131 different holdings in JEPI. But then along with holding on to some of those names, JEPI also implements written out of the money S&P 500 index call options to seek distributable monthly income, which has been offered to us investors in the form of like 8 or 9 or 10%, depending on what time frame you're looking at. Now, JEPI doesn't pay the biggest yield, I know that. So some investors are a little bit bearish on this one, and JEPI isn't necessarily the most tax efficient. But all in all, I do have to include JEPI as one of my favorites. I mean, I've been holding on to it forever now, it feels like at this point. It's not my favorite covered call ETF across the market, but it's definitely solid. Now, another JP Morgan one is of course JEPQ, the JP Morgan NASDAQ version. This ETF basically offers NASDAQ 100 exposure, but then with that, writes out of the money NASDAQ 100 index call options. Now, JEPQ does offer a much higher yield compared to JEPI, around 12 or 13%, and the dividends have been pretty good as of recently, around 45-50 cents more or less per share per month. JEPQ's also been fun to hold on to over the last several years because just up until recently, this ETF has been growing like crazy and also paying a ton of income, which is sort of a bonus. All in all, JEPQ is still always at the top of my list if we're talking about premium income focused ETFs. Another few of my newer favorites is going to have to be JPIQ and of course JPIX. These are the Goldman Sachs premium income ETFs. This one tracks the NASDAQ more or less, and this one tracks the S&P. Both these ETFs see current income while also maintaining prospects for capital appreciation, which we have not seen much of as of recently. If anything, we've been seeing these names go down. The cool thing about JPIX and of course JPIQ is that the actual strategy with these ETFs allows for some upside if the market turns bullish, but also offers investors anywhere from 10 or 11% yield for JPIQ and around 8 or 9% yield more or less for JPIX. Both of these ETFs are sort of the gold standard if you want S&P and or NASDAQ 100 exposure but want it through a premium income strategy. Both these ETFs are my personal portfolio, and I would definitely include them very high up on the list if we're talking best cover call style income style ETFs across the markets. Now, a few more of my favorites, SPYI. This might be my #1 favorite S&P 500 high income ETF across the entire market. And I've talked about this one time and time again. It's basically because the target strategy, the benefits of this ETF almost offer exactly what I'm looking for to a T. Now, that's consistent income plus some potential upside, but very tax efficiently at that. SPYI is one of my largest positions in the class of cover call style ETFs. I think I currently own around $50,000 worth. Now, this ETF has paid me very nicely for every single share that I've been holding, every single month that I've been holding ever since I started. Around 50 cents more or less per share per month gives a trailing 12-month yield of around 12-13+%. Another NEOS one that I absolutely love is QQQI. A little bit higher beta with this one because you are getting NASDAQ 100 exposure, but this ETF since inception has paid around 60 cents per share per month. So you are getting a little bit higher yield with this one, but you are going to have some exposure to maybe a little bit higher beta underlying known as the NASDAQ 100. Now, last but not least, the final ETF that I have been enjoying buying as of recently, it's still a smaller position, is the NEOS Real Estate High Income ETF. Now, this ETF is absolutely awesome for me personally because I honestly love having exposure to high quality real estate. Names like American Tower, names like Welltower, names like Realty Income, the list goes on and on. But then along with that, this ETF offers an options-driven call option strategy, which offers a ton of income generation for this ETF. So you're sort of getting the best of both worlds, in my opinion, high quality real estate exposure, but with like a 12% yield. If and when real estate in the stock market dips significantly, I would probably first start to make this ETF a much larger allocation across all my other high income ETFs. And that's just once again, for me personally, I like real estate exposure and I like high income. So there we have it, guys. Those are several of my all-time favorite cover call style, option style ETFs as of right now. And honestly, over time, I'm going to change my mind about certain names, probably add new ones in, take old ones out, because of course the market is consistently evolving. But across the entire landscape, my strategy has been pretty consistent. Buy into well-diversified ETFs that offer the potential for upside, offer a ton of income generation, and offer a diversified underlying holdings with tax efficiency as a bonus. But before I go, I do have a question for you guys down below. In the cover call option style space as of right now, what are a few of your favorite names? Drop the ticker symbols in my comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like in it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.